Hi guys, it's Charlotte here. Today I'm going to show you some of the gameplay which is involved in the new game pack which is called The Sims 4 Dine Out. The Sims 4 Dine Out is a game pack, so that means it's somewhere in between a stuff pack and an expansion pack. It involves a few new physical items and clothing. It also adds a few more options to your gameplay which you can use, and I will show you. So as you can see, there are quite a few customers that have come into my restaurant. I've just gone over to this couple to welcome them to my restaurant and also to check on them. When you do this, it raises their customer satisfaction, which can obviously lead to your restaurant getting higher stars. The star system works from 1 to 5. You can see the little stars above the head. Usually it will say when you hover over the sim what they're feeling, whether they like the restaurant or whether there's an issue, and obviously you can adapt your reactions depending on what they say. Currently my restaurant is only a 1-star restaurant. You can see your restaurant rating shown on the screen there. If you look at that little red star, you can see how many there are. Obviously I've only got the 1 red star, and underneath it will show you the number of reviews which have been given about your restaurant. You'll obviously also see how much you've earned that day. You can also see how many hours your restaurant has been open. Obviously here I've only been open for 2 hours. I try to aim to keep my restaurant open for about 8 hours, maybe 12 if it's a very slow day. If you do overwork your employees, they obviously will get less satisfied in themselves and their job. So you might lose them, they might quit, or they just might perform really badly. You can interact with your employees. Obviously at the moment I'm just going around checking on my employees to make sure that they are okay, to make sure that they're feeling fine and if they have any issues. And obviously in the corner it comes up with their response. You also have the option to praise and also criticise your employees. Obviously it depends on how they're performing, depends on your choices, or you might just want to be a harsh or over-loving boss. Here I'm just criticising my host because she's been slouching and not working very hard, so I'm trying to curb that. And obviously she's realising that she's not being too great, so she's apologised and said she will stop doing it and she'll fuck up. You can also train your employees and give them different levels of training. You do have to pay for this. I've just paid for mine to have basic training to sort of help improve her performance and also her skills. You can also promote your employees. Here I'm promoting my waitress because she's been working super hard and her stats have grown so much, so I'm going to pay her more, and it also raises her satisfaction, so hopefully she'll earn her promotion, I guess, through her work. I've sort of been promoting my staff when they've reached certain levels, so as their skills develop and they develop, I'm giving them their promotion to sort of keep building that and give them the motivation to get even higher levels and perform better. You do also have the option to demote employees. I haven't actually used this yet, but obviously I guess if you've got an employee which is performing especially badly but you don't quite want to lose them, you can demote them to say that you are aware that they're not performing great and, you know, sort it out. Restaurant perks are also being introduced into this game. Basically, when a customer is satisfied or happy, you will receive perk points, which once you've saved up enough, you can spend on different rewards for your restaurant, such as a new waiter or a 24-hour boost. Much like moodlets, when you receive enough of them, you can get a reward for your sim. I would also just like to say that waiters in this game don't tend to like cleaning up after themselves. So I've been using my sim, the owner, I guess you could call her, to clean up the plates. You can also prioritise food if the waiter is not doing food quick enough. So here I'm just letting them know that their food is prioritised, and it automatically sort of hurries your staff up to do it, because if a sim waits too long for food, they get very upset and you'll lose stars. Although running the restaurant is all fun, you can also actually request a table and become the customer. So I've actually decided to request a table at my own restaurant. I guess for me, I just want to check how they're doing. But if you were to take a sim on a day or visit another restaurant, you could also do this. And I did want to show you how it works. So obviously the host will take you over to your table, and eventually my sim will follow. She will take you to your seat and obviously let you know that you can sit down. To interact with the restaurant options, you need to select the table that you've been ordering from. You can obviously, I think it's bring cake, order food for table, and you can also have this little cute one which I found, which is called draw and placemat. So I just had a bit of fun with that, and it actually does heighten your creativity skill. So I thought that is really cool, and I think Sims of all ages are actually able to do this. Once you're ready for your sim to order her food, or his food rather, you can click on the table and select order for table. It will then come up with a menu. When you actually open a restaurant, you have to decide what things will be sold in your restaurant. So you have to select the drinks that will be sold, the appetizers, the main meals and the desserts. You can also obviously set your price. I've just selected a cafe latte, I think it's a bread and meat or cheese and meat platter, some kind of quiche and also some macaroons. And at the bottom of that menu you will also see the total price, which is freaking extortionate, I have to say. I would never spend that much on food in real life. And once you've ordered it, the waiter will come over, take the order, and after a little wait, or long wait as my employees seem to make it, food will turn up and you can just sit and eat it and take your time. Some Sims do choose to stay at the table until their food is ordered, and then they'll pick their food up and go elsewhere, so you don't have to stay at your table to eat. And just to let you know, your food will still be delivered to the table even if you go to the loo. It won't suddenly disappear and they won't not serve you. It will still be delivered. The only way you can lose your food is if you decide to click on the option which says give up table. If you click on the host booth, there's actually an option to disallow new customers. So this means that any customers that do come and ask for a table will be turned away. It's good if you're planning on closing up a restaurant, or if it's just too busy, which in this case it is what my employees are used to. When the food is ready for the sim, the food will miraculously appear on the kitchen window like so. The waiter will then go over there, pick it up and give it to your table, which just sort of magically appears on your table. My only issue here is, even though I've got 3 meals that I've ordered, for some reason I can only see the one. I think it's worth a mention that the food that you order at a restaurant does fill Sims up pretty quickly, which I think is pretty great, as at this point in time my sim was really quite hungry. Once your sim has satisfied her hunger, you can select the table again and click on the option which says end meal and pay, and that basically gets the sim to let the waiter know that you're done and you get your bill. Once you want to end the restaurant day, if you just click on the restaurant tab and select close, it will come up with this little tab. It will say your earnings, your losses, how your employees have performed, and also your restaurant rating. So all the Sims are leaving my restaurant now, that includes my employees. I myself am just cleaning up the mess that's been left because the waiters don't like to do their job. So it's all nice and ready for the next working day. you'll start to notice that as your rating goes up for your restaurant, then your number of customers will increase as well. Obviously, when it does increase, you do need to remember that you've only got a certain amount of employees to deal with all these customers, so it's definitely worth spending those perk points on more members of staff, which I have done. I actually hired another chef so that I could meet the cooking needs of the restaurant. And you've also got to remember that when you hire a new employee, their skills may not be very high. So for a while, I know that customers might complain about food because she's got very low skills compared to my main chef, who is absolutely flawless in her cooking skills. And like every other day that I've had the restaurant open, I'm going around welcoming each and every customer and checking on their table, because it really does pay off for your rating skills, and I do want to get higher up on the rating because it means that I can raise my prices yet again and earn a lot more money. I just wanted to include this because I thought it was hilarious. My sim was just working and this lady just comes up and starts flirting with the owner like nothing else, bless her. So I'm just going with it, bless her. But that happens, so you know, good for your sort of sitcoms and movies that you're making if you do make Sims movies. I think it's quite funny. But I'm married, so stay away. As with any simulation game, you need to make sure that your expenses aren't more than your income that's coming into your restaurant. Obviously, if you are spending more than you're earning, you can look into advertising, or you can always temporarily demote your staff, which will put them in a bad mood, or you could fire a staff member, but again, that may not be beneficial. It is quite a difficult game if you wanted to achieve a 5-star restaurant, and it does require a lot of work. You can actually open your restaurant from home and not attend the restaurant when it's open, but it does have consequences. You will still earn money, but it may mean that you lose your ratings and that people aren't as satisfied when you're there. Running a restaurant in this game pack is very, very similar to running a restaurant in real life or any organisation. As an owner in The Sims, you are the manager of the restaurant, and that means that it's down to you to make sure that you are balancing the workload between employees and making sure that the employees are satisfied and that they're not heavily overworked, and also that you're disciplining them or making sure that they know they're making mistakes if they are, and making sure they have the training if they're struggling a little bit. I mean, just in plain sight, it is pretty much keep your employees happy and your customers will be happy too, because your employees will give an amazing service, and obviously that way you will earn so much money and so many perk points that your restaurant will thrive. And once you've got the hang of your first restaurant, you can actually make a chain, so you can own more than one restaurant and become a, I don't know, is it a chain owner, just a restaurant chain owner? But essentially it can make your sim very, very, very rich, and it's really fun and it's definitely worth it. I think it definitely adds a lot more into the game and lets you know how, I guess it gives you an insight into what it's actually like to run a restaurant in some ways or another. This is actually the last episode in my Dine Out series. I will upload some more videos soon, however, but they will be completely different to this. So I will see you guys then, and I'll also upload this restaurant to the gallery for you in the meantime.